core values are not aspirational. Core values are how you act, how your leadership team acts, how your people act day in and day out, and you need to live those core values on a daily basis, right? In order to do that, is there anything that you guys do to do that? First of all, you have core values at Thread.
Sure. Yeah, I think one, like you might just naturally act out your core values if you have great people and you're nice to me, so I'm more likely to be nice to you, and it's a really fun culture and all of that. That's nice, but it's hard to do if you don't know your core values. And
Mhm.
I would challenge, anyone on here, go ask people at your company, like, what are our core values? What's our mission? What's our vision? Most people can't say it, right? They might get like somewhat similar, a little close. Maybe they can say one of them. Um, when I was at Lion Guard, man, Joe Alapat is one of the best guys I know at just continually repeating, like, these are our core values. It's these five things. Every company meeting opens up with a slide of those things.
Mhm.
And I think when you do that, and when people are asking you about them, they're going to be front of mind and you're a lot more likely to follow them.
Yeah, yeah, and how do you guys keep those core values top of mind? And you could use Lion Guard as an example. You could use Thread as an example if you want.
Sure.
What works best for you guys?
We talk about service magic a lot. Creating service magic is a core value of ours.
Uh-huh.
And we think about things in magical experiences, and some of it's like our terminology when, we happen to run into a bug, which hopefully we don't, or, someone doesn't get a calendar link that they should have gotten to one of our onboarding calls. It's like, hey, they're not getting a magical experience. And we'll say it to the customer, like, hey, we're sorry that experience wasn't magical. Our goal is to provide magical experiences. We promised you a magical experience. So we're going to
Mhm.
give you a magical experience, even though this time wasn't. Um, and I think, maybe every core value doesn't make sense to turn into a verb, um, or something in your vocabulary, but I think a lot of them can. And when you talk like that, I think you're a lot more likely to do it. Like badass MSP. You guys say that all the time. And I don't know, is that a core value of y'all's?
Be badass is a core value
There you
of
go.
ours, and it really means going above and beyond, and sort of like what did you do that was badass today, and we actually use our platform Crewhu in Crewhu,
Yeah.
and we have the badges where everybody could recognize each other on the core values, badass being one of them. And as you grow, I mean, when we were five people, it was easy. I saw most things, but now that we're 30 people, even when we got to 10, it started to get hard to understand what great things were happening every day. And our mission as a company is to celebrate the small wins on a daily basis for to help our customers do it, but we want to do it every day, and that's what creates core values, and also cool swag, cool swag.
Totally. Yeah, and it should be tied in. If you have swag and it's like, how does that tie into your core values? How does that tie into your mission? And it doesn't, maybe you're doing like a marketing thing that's not directly related, but it should be pretty obvious. And again, you guys do a great job of that. Another one that comes to mind for me is collaboration is a big part of ours. It's one of our core values.
Mhm.
And so one thing we do at Thread that feels a little awkward sometimes is we just try to have as many conversations in public forums as we can. So
Mhm.
we use Slack. If I'm DMing someone, we move that conversation to a public channel a lot. And it's like it's not to just spam people, and we do it in a thread, so it's buried, but like anyone could jump in and see what's going on and share things. And I find a lot of times, like I'm going back and forth with somebody trying to come to a solution, and someone else is like, "Hey, we just solved this last week. Like we've already thought through these things." And it
Mhm.
saves the cycles, um, and it helps people be empowered, right? Like we value people's opinion, and
Mhm.
so, anyways, that's another one. But you have to make a choice a lot to follow it because it's much easier for us to just text than to like do it publicly.
Oh, I fall into that all the time. I actually just today, I'm working on a dashboard project for our account managers, and I had two people on the conversation. My CTO being one of them. He's like, "Oh yeah, you have to include this person, and this person because they're involved. We can't create a silo." And I'm like, you
Yeah.
know, and so yeah, having that core value there of collaboration makes people remind people, right? Because not everybody, including me, including anybody, follows it all the time. They need to be. That's what culture is, right? They say, "Hey, wait, no, you're not acting the way we're supposed to act."
Yeah.
Correct, and you
So
correct it.
So we've had some great conversation around core values. Love that we jumped into it. How does that tie into culture? Like today we're talking about how culture drives revenue and drives profit,
Yeah,
but maybe someone joined a few minutes in and they're like, "We're talking about core values? What? Like I thought this was about culture."
yeah,
Stephen, how are those tied
yeah.
together?
Yeah, well, your core values make up your company culture. Your company culture, uh, you know, will predict how your company is going to react. What what your customers want, what our customers want, what our listeners' customers want, is for you to act in a consistent and reliable way. Now, we all know, shit's going to hit the fan once in a while, if not a lot. But it's how you act when that happens, right? And the core values are the rules, right? They're what you never do, what you always do. They're the non-negotiables of your business. They're what you fire on and hire on.
Yeah.
It's what also you recruit on. Whenever we bring somebody on, I'm involved in the last interview, and it really isn't me trying to figure out if they have the skills, but it's me telling them about everything about our company so they can decide if they fit, right? Because if they don't, it's ultimately not going to work out. It's going to be a waste of my time and their time. So it's really important in when you're growing a company, because the worst thing that could happen as you're growing is you lose somebody voluntarily, or you bring someone on that you're so happy about that they're just not performing.
Yep.
There's something more frustrating than that, and that kills growth.
Yeah, and if they're not tied into your core values, I went to it was one of the consulting groups in the MSP space. I went to one of their shows a few years ago, and they talked about how you have stars and you have terrorists, and those are like the two spectrums of like someone who is super competent at their job but is a terrible culture fit. They call terrorists, and someone
Yeah.
who is super
Yes.
competent at their job and is an incredible culture fit is a star, and someone who is a great culture fit but not competent is a puppy. And so they
Right.
were like, train the puppies. Puppies are great. Like maybe you shouldn't have hired them. Maybe you hired them entry level. Train them up. They're going to be great in the future. They can become stars. But the
Yeah.
terrorist can never become a star. Like they're never going to change to be a great culture fit, especially if they're already super competent. And
Hmm.
those are like a lot of companies, probably a lot of people on here maybe have someone like that, right? That it's like they're they're out there on their own. They don't come to meetings very often. They're worth having because they're so good, you think at least. But they're not following your core values and they're detracting from the culture for everybody. So
Yeah.
back
And
to
they
the
make other people
interviewing.
miserable.
Yeah, and it's so important that you're involved in those interviews, right? And you're sniffing those things out. It's like, yes, this person would be an incredible developer. You've proven
Mhm.
that. I trust you. Like I'm not even interviewing based on that because I know that you've already done that. But man, this is just going to kill our culture.
Yeah. So and that matrix. So it's the skills, which is what Bobby, you're talking about, the stars, and then the culture fit, which is the softer stuff, is the fit with the core values, And we have a matrix like that where, you have high fit, high skills, A players, high fit, lower skills, not hitting their goals, the puppies that you called them. And no skills, no fit. That's easy, right? That's easy to see. And then the
Sure.
toxic, the toxic terrorists, right? High skills, low fit. And we actually, we do this, quarterly, right? I do this with my partner quarterly, across to see, where we are. It's really important to identify the A players. I because the A players those are the people that you want to spend the most time with, and then the
Yep.
B players are who you want your A players to spend the most time with. And a lot of times companies don't give the A players enough attention, or the leaders or the CEO or the owner,
Yeah.
uh, and they leave, and you feel it when they leave. Um, and so that's one of the things that we try to really focus on. Identify the A players, pay attention to them, make sure that they never leave the
Yeah.
organization, because those are the people that will grow your business. And
Well, Steve Jobs talked a lot about A players hire A players, and as soon as you hire a B player, they hire C players, and it all goes, it's hard to come back.
mhm,
Um, okay, so we talked about core values. We should probably dig into it some more, but we've done some good stuff with core values.
right.
It plays into culture. Why does culture matter? Like, why should I care? Like, maybe I'm running a super profitable business, but we're like private equity. Everyone kind of hates each other. We fire people whenever we need to, but we're performing well. Like, we're making money. Why does culture matter?
Culture matters longer term. If you're a private equity firm and you're here short term to get in, get out, that's another conversation. If you're looking longer term, if you have a 3 year picture, 5 year picture, um, yeah, it's really important to have a strong culture. Strong cultures sustain businesses. If you don't, when you're looking just at the bottom line, and not the people, you'll see you'll see short term success, but you won't see long term success. That's why you see a lot of really talented people looking for jobs, because there's a lot of M&A going on, and there's a lot of private equity, and when that happens, unless there's a big payout for them personally, they don't want to really be a part of it, which is an opportunity for other firms to pick up really really talented people. But my start in this whole journey didn't start in the MSP world. It started with me trying to transform the culture in my franchise businesses. I had Cold Stone Creamery ice cream stores. I brought them
Nice.
to Florida, right? And so I think I was probably in a situation like a lot of people on the call, probably like Thread, and like we are now. We're growing fast, right? And so I came in, we started to build stores and build stores and build stores. We were winning the market. All of a sudden, I had 100 employees. And I looked, and my turnover was at 100%. I was losing my entire staff year over year. My same store sales were going down. I was getting one piece of negative feedback per store per month, thousands of transactions, one piece of feedback. And I saw that it wasn't easy to give feedback, right?
Hmm.
And I saw the managers. The managers were only going after the employees for things that were going wrong, not for things that were going right. And so we talk about this thing called the relationship bank account, where you give compliments, you celebrate small things with your guys, and you start to build up that bank account. So when you come and say, "Hey, let's talk about why this is happening," they'll listen instead of just yes you,
Yeah.
and not do anything, right? A lot of times the bank account is at deficit, and that's why, that's a low culture organization, and you don't get anything. The productivity stinks no matter what you try to do. They don't listen to you. And that's why you hear people saying, "Hey, I can't, you can't hire good help these days." And the real reason is it's not high culture. And what we did And I had a low culture organization at that point. And we created, that's where Crewhu was actually created. We took
Awesome.
this, we built software, attached it to the loyalty program. When they checked in, 5 minutes later, they got a survey. So it became easy to answer the survey. We were now getting 100 pieces of feedback instead of just one.
From your
96
team.
from the team, and the team member was attached to it. So the 96 pieces of feedback that were actually positive, we were rewarding them, and they felt recognized for the hard work that they did, and that started to create this culture of customer service. Turnover went way down. Our same store sales went way up. We ended up being one of the highest grossing franchise groups in the country. And then I went on to do what I'm doing with the MSPs with the same solution. But the whole idea was to create that strong culture of customer service, right? So that's
Love it.
why it's important, right? So if you want your guys to act consistently in an amazing way and to serve your customers, it's strong culture that gets you there.
Yeah. So this webinar is how you get more profit with great culture, right? And I heard you say that in there. Your same store sales went up when you had better retention rates of your team, when they liked their job more, when they were being rewarded more often. It's awesome. So you were making more money because of it.
Oh yeah, we were making a lot more money because of it. We were under 10% EBITDA. By the time we were done, we were over 25%, and
That's massive.
it was because the A players were staying with us longer. The tenure was longer. I mean, these are minimum wage jobs, so they're not going to stay with us forever.
Sure.
But we're going from under a year to over 2 years, which is huge. But the same people were more productive in their position because we were celebrating the small wins daily. We were recognizing the guys, and what happens is people want to do well. But if they know that all of their hard work is going unnoticed, they're going to just disengage just a little bit. You might not even notice it per person, but as an organization, you go from top notch to average, and that's why there's a lot of average out there, and
Yeah.
and that's why there's such a big opportunity to stand out.
Something we talk a lot about at Thread that I've heard you say is one of the leading indicators of customer experience is employee experience, right? If your team is happier, your customer is going to be happier. They're going to spend more. Your sales go up. I saw actually a post, Philadelphia Eagles lost the other day. I know George Bardisi is posting all about it. Um, I think he actually shared this post. Travis Kelce, right after he retired, went to his favorite McDonald's and gave a jersey through the window that was autographed to his favorite McDonald's person, right? That that that's not common, right? Like that McDonald's has incredible culture. To have that
Mhm.
kind of connection with their regular customers and be giving gifts like that at a minimum wage role, um, that's awesome. And so at Thread, when we talk about, employee experience, we hate tickets, we have death of the ticket. We're doing that in a lot of ways by building a new experience for the employees so they're not getting killed by refreshes all day. They're not clicking on these antiquated softwares and waiting for them to load over and over and over. I'm sure at Cold Stone, if you have an old POS system that's a POS, right, and you're clicking and it has to load and it won't take the cards and tips aren't working, you're gonna have a worse employee experience and the customer's gonna have a bad time. So there's a lot of ways to improve that employee experience. You
Mhm.
guys are an incredible one. For anybody that doesn't have Crewhu, shameless plug from Thread. I have no dog in the fight. You guys need to go get Crewhu right now and improve your employee experience. But there's a lot of ways to approach that.
Yeah, I took yeah. So you recognize the employees for doing great work, but yeah, I totally get that. Like if they get in, if it's hard to do, um, it's going to be hard to get them to do it in a sustained way over a long period of time. So one of the things that we do internally as a company is we try to make things as easy as possible. for the employee. I mean, we're doing these projects now. We're creating dashboards for everybody, so they have the information so easily accessible, so they don't have to dig for it. Because if we know they have to dig for it, they might not do it on a consistent basis. So
Yeah,
for anything that you want to get done, you want to make it easy. And uh, and I don't know all the applications of Thread, but if you're making things easy, that's something great. I know that we one of the things we wanted to cover was optimizing processes, right? And so how are some of the ways that you do that internally? Maybe you do that for the market as well.
totally. Yeah, there's this process is everything. There's so much opportunity with process because it can get into any area of your company. Um, you know, I mentioned there's a lot of PSA consultants out there that are there to help MSPs improve processes, whether it's how you dispatch and schedule tickets, whether it's how you track your billing. Time entries are a huge thing. One little thing that we do with our AI is you click a button and we write your time entry for you. That's a technician's least favorite part of their day. When I talk to MSPs and service desk managers, they're like, hey, every Monday morning, I'm on my team at least maybe every day of the week on saying, hey, summarize what you did, put your time in, do your time entries. But these technicians care about the customers, right? They're in a customer facing role. They want to solve problems and feel like superheroes. And so they're not following process. They're not doing the boring stuff that they've decided for themselves isn't worth it. They're just
Mhm.
out there working with customers. It's like a salesperson not putting stuff in the CRM, right? Like me and you are going to be mad at them because, hey, I don't know what's happening. How are we supposed to improve? We don't have any notes. Like, how are we supposed to help this partner onboard really well? But the
Mhm.
salesperson's like, hey, I've got a lot of people to talk to. Like, I got them on board. What more do you want from me? And I think like if you dig into those things, it's bad process. Right? Like if the process was easier, they would follow it. They would have a much better time at their
Mhm.
job because they're doing what they think is important. They're doing what they've decided they should be doing. And so all that to
Mhm.
say, a thread, you click a button and we write your time entry for you with AI. People are getting 5 minutes back on every single ticket. They're billing more, so the managers are happy. That's one thing with AI. There's a lot of opportunity to tackle those small things from a
Mhm.
process perspective. But what about you guys, Stephen? What are some of the processes you guys tackle?
We're always looking to make processes better. I think so we talked about culture, and another part of a strong culture is creating goals and making sure everybody knows what their goals are, right? So you mentioned time entry. If time entry was a really serious goal, then that should be front and center, right? 100% of your time entered by Friday or whatever it is. Internally, we love contests, and we use the Crewhu contest module in our Crewhu organization. So one of our things was we wanted to get more releases out. So we tracked effort points and releases on the dev side, and we had a team goal, and the team would be recognized and rewarded for hitting that goal on a weekly basis. So that worked really well for us. For our support staff, we have a number of feedbacks that they gotten back from their customers. And we don't care if it's negative or positive because we love negative feedback. We love positive feedback. The only thing that we don't love is no feedback. So we reward them on the number of feedbacks that they get every week, and we're able to, if it's bad, we're able to address it. We're able to improve process based on it, and if it's good, we're able to showcase it on our website. We're able to show prospects how our other customers feel supported when they use us. So that's setting goals, having contests are one of the ways that we try to improve results, and from there we get information to make processes even better.
Yeah, man, I love how you said when those results are coming in, you can do a lot of things with it, right? If it's negative, you can address it, but if it's positive and you guys have a good culture, you can put it on your website. There's so much value that comes out of having a good culture. We've both experienced it at conferences, hanging out at our booths, hanging out at the bar with people. Like it's attractive. People want to be around good cultures. And so I think like, if culture is the how, and then you have a good product, that's the input. It's attracting people to your good product, and an outcome of having a good product makes your culture better. And then the output is, you're gonna make revenue from it. It's gonna affect your bottom line. More people are gonna use your product. Hopefully it's priced well. And I think, I'm just if we have a skeptic who is on this webinar and they're like, yeah, it's just so much work. It's fine. I can just hire new people. Um, I think like that is one of the most compelling things for me. It's like when we have this good culture, which you're talking about, your tool helps create, then it just bleeds through everything and people want to be a part of it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. My when I feel my culture index is high, I feel much better. I am not thinking about work. Things are going. I'm sitting and eating dinner with my son and my wife and not thinking about work, right? I have time to go play pickleball. Um,
Totally.
I'm not putting out fires, right?
Yeah.
That's one gauge, right? So when things start to go off the rails, even a little bit, you start to feel it. And you're able to do something about it. We like to measure it by using our system, but there's many ways to measure it. And as a leader or an owner, you need to have your finger on that pulse,
Yeah.
because if not, you're just going up and down and up and down and up and down. If you start to have a consistently strong culture, you'll start to see that high growth year over year over year.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And one thing that you mentioned is you guys use your tool to get a feel for that. We don't have a formal integration between our products. We should. That'd be really cool. But one of the reasons we don't is our products just work together really naturally. I know we just did a poll. Would love to get some insight on who on this call is using Thread or Crewhu or neither or both. But for people that are using both, Thread helps you meet your customers where they live, so you can chat right in platform where your customers are living. Um, you can meet them in Microsoft Teams or something like that. What we found is when you send a CSAT response from Crewhu through chat, we've seen over a 40% increase in response rate when stuff is sent through chat, when it's right where people are living. And then, man, think about the impact that has when you have that much more insight into your customer's experience. And that's not employee specific, but a customer specific experience is a pretty good indicator there.
That's really cool. And for the most part, when people come to us and we ask them what do you really want to get, they're like, oh, we want to get more feedback. We want to get more intelligence. We want our customers to be more engaged and talk to us more, right? And what we found in all of our data, and we're getting hundreds of thousands of responses, in almost 1 million responses over the course of 2023. We found that those that just use CSAT compared to those that use CSAT plus the recognition and rewards, those with the rewards have 30% more responses, and they also have a 7-point increase in customer satisfaction, which is really cool. There's a direct correlation between happy employees or recognizing your employees, or even more specifically, celebrating the small wins on a daily basis. I wanna end with one thing that we do that I think is amazing. We have a weekly meeting with the leaders every Tuesday, and every Tuesday we nominate what we call the giver, and that's somebody that not only gives lots of recognition to everybody else, but also what they've said in that recognition badge. And we also have a reward for living it. For those that were living, our core value, and this is all based on opinion from the leaders, and it's very democratic, and who's living the values the most, who has the best example of living one of the values this week, and so we give these awards, and that really boosts morale and helps keep the culture strong. Any best practice that you'd like to share, Bobby, before we end?
I love that. Man, I'm still thinking about something you shared right before that when you said you guys have 1 million responses from last year. Man, that's incredible data. And that let me read this back if this is what I heard right. For your customers,
Mm-hmm.
MSPs that have higher culture fits, they have a 7 point increase on their customer satisfaction.
Yeah, those that use recognition and rewards.
That's right.
Yeah.
Man, yeah. So literally, if you're recognizing your team, if you're rewarding them, your customers are going to be happier. Like living proof that employee experience directly affects customer experience. And, it's a nice thing to say, but I just really want to hammer that home because it's hard to see that from a data perspective, right? We can read reports, like there's a really great Harvard study about it, but you guys might have the best data around that out there. Talk about value reporting. So yeah, I just wanted to double click on that. I think that is really freaking cool. Um, you know, Best practices that we share around culture. We'd love to wear costumes. We do it at conferences. We do it on webinars and on Zoom all the time. We do floral Fridays, and um, it's kind of silly, but I think it gets back to like keeping it lighthearted. And it shows that we're really tied into our brand. Like for our team, it's like, hey, it's not, it is a company I work at. I'm not going to tell people it's family. You have family. We're not family, but we do have some really important relationships, and we are tied into our brand very closely. And so, it's not just gimmicky, like, hey, let's dress up like Star Wars today. It's like we really believe in what we're doing and killing tickets and creating service magic. And our CEO is willing to wear a pirate hat and fake earring and stuff and be into that. So um, I bring it up because it has a huge impact. Like you really see the team get on board with those things, and it doesn't have to be a costume. But I think doing those things that signal like how bought in and how much you believe in this as a
Mhm.
leader, people want to be a part of movements like that.
Yeah, yeah, and it's great. It's a great way they'll help you grow. You're not scraping to hire people. People want to be part of the movement, right? And
Yeah.
and you need that. As you grow, you need customers. Uh, you need an employee ecosystem. You also need your partners, your vendors. Where we sponsor, you need the whole ecosystem to make that happen. And the way to do that is really with a strong culture and focusing on it. It's probably the highest ROI, and I'm a marketing guy by nature.
Yeah.
So I want to spend a lot on marketing, but dollar for dollar, focusing on culture, focusing on employee happiness is going to be the best ROI you could spend. So I would say at least take a portion of your budget in 2024 and use it for that. And for those that are using Crewhu, I know there's a bunch on the call that are. Please get with your account managers and learn how you could use more of this system. We have a structure in place just for that. I don't believe it ends just at the sale. I, you
Yeah.
know, we we want to spend a long time with you guys.
Stephen, we've got a number of people on the call that aren't familiar with Crewhu. Give us a quick pitch just in case. Like, what does Crewhu do?
Yeah, we're a customer satisfaction and employee recognition platform. built for MSPs. And we will help you grow your business by focusing on the metrics that are important, and focusing on making it very easy for your team to recognize each other, and to keep that culture strong and the collaboration strong.
Love it.
Yeah. What about you, Bobby? You want to give your quick 2 sentences?
Sure. Yeah. We hate tickets. So we say death to the ticket. We think they're a terrible way to treat people. And so we help MSPs create service magic. You can meet your customers where they live in something like Teams. Customer chat with you. It opens a ticket in the PSA. We see over a 30% decrease in time to resolution for chat-based tickets. There's a lot more on top of that. We do a bunch with AI, write your time entries, categorize tickets, creating service magic, the short of it. So, we'll put stuff in the chat how you can grab time with either of us. Not to say that this is over, but just in case anyone has to drop.
Yeah, and if there's, I think this is the time for the Q&A. So if there's any questions on culture, or on improving processes, or on wanting to hear specific examples, please drop us a note in the chat, and we're here to answer.
Okay, looks like we have a question, Stephen. Why should someone choose Crewhu over other CSAT platforms?
Well, CSAT is just where it starts, right? Collecting feedback, right? So we make it easier to collect more feedback. So if you currently have CSAT, we could meet with you and help you collect more feedback. But we also have a process that's very easy to put into place that will enable you to recognize and reward your guys for a job well done, creating that culture of customer service. If you don't use us, there's a bunch of people on the call that may be able to tell you a little bit about what we do, if you know any of them. But you could also get on the line with one of our guys, and I don't know if that's been shared yet in the chat with you, but we are having a promotion for anybody that would sign up for a demo from this call. You get 20% off. It's coming now. It's coming now. And we have, most of our sales actually does come from referrals from other MSPs. That's why we go to the trade shows, because we just have our customers introducing us to new people. So that's one of the things that makes us different as well. We have raving fans that are willing to talk about how great they think the platform is, and how it's helped their organization. And we could get you in touch with them as well. Oh, here it is. It's crewhu.com/thread-webinar-demo. It's in the chat. I think that's really about it. If there's no other questions, I can't see any more questions. Is there anything else you want to add, Bobby?
No, I think that's it. It's early in the year. Sorry, go ahead, Jennifer.
Hello, everyone. There is a question from Cody Palmer. Is there a native ServiceNow integration in the works?
For who? For me? For Bobby? For both?
Cody, is it for both of them, or just Crewhu? Just Thread? Crewhu.
ServiceNow is something that we're looking into, and if you want to send us a note so we could keep you in the loop, please let us know. We know ServiceNow is a big player as you start to grow your MSP. So we know that they're a really important person to focus on. We just finished the Halo integration, and integrations are a big piece of our strategy. I cannot give you a date, though. I hate to promise things that make me look like a liar. So certainly happy to chat with you offline about that as well. Anything
Awesome.
else?
Well, Steven, I know we'll both be at a good bit of conferences as stuff starts to kick off. I know you guys will be at SchnizzFest in a few
Yep.
weeks, right? We'll be at NerdioCon in the Dominican Republic if anybody wants
Oh,
to hang
okay. All
out down
right.
there.
Very cool.
Um, and stuff's kicking off. So these are
Mhm.
topics I know we both love to talk about. So, great topics at the bar or the booths if anyone's out of shows this year.
Yeah. We'll also be a seven-figure MSP. I think that's coming up pretty soon too.
Totally.
Um, and I know that you'll probably be at Exchange. And if anybody's going to
Yep.
be at Exchange, I think I'll be there as well. So, Bobby, it was great seeing you. And really can't wait to get on the road again for 2024. As I said earlier, guys, for the people that are still here, good feedback is amazing. Bad feedback, even better. No feedback sucks. So please go to crewhu.com/feedback and give Bobby and I a thumbs up if we gave you some information that you think is helpful, and give us a thumbs down if you just wasted your time. We want to know. We want to get better.